Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Sam here from Sam's Wacky Videos, and I've got something special for y'all today. This video is about the N1 rocket. I've decided to do kind of a special on it, so I hope you guys like it. This is my first attempt at this kind of thing, so I'm hoping that I can get some feedback from you guys. And yeah, sit back and enjoy the show. Unbeknownst to the majority of the people in the world, including most of those citizens in the Soviet Union, the Russian space program was working on a secret moon rocket, one that would threaten the United States' Saturn V, but only if made operational and in time to beat the US to the ultimate prize of the Cold War space race, the moon. In December 1959, Sergei Korolev proposed 3 rockets to the Soviet military. The N1 was the largest, capable of carrying a 50 metric ton or 110,000 pound payload. This design was selected, and the N1 was born. The rocket was to have a 6,060,000 pound mass, and a first stage that would top all other rockets in the world in its size, having a diameter of 55.8 feet and 30, yes, 30 Soviet HK-15 kerosene and liquid oxygen powered rocket engines. It remains to this day the largest first stage of a rocket in spaceflight history. In 1961, when President Kennedy promised to send men to the moon by the end of the decade, the Soviets quickly went into action, further developing their lunar program. The first launch was originally planned for 1967, but with many complications and slowdowns, the goal was pushed back to 1968 or 1969 in an attempt to be ahead of the United States. The Soviets had led much of the space race so far with their many accomplishments, such as putting the first man into space and the first spacewalk, etc. But would they be the first to the moon? Only time would tell. On February 21st, 1969, the first launch of the N1 rocket was to occur. The rocket to be test launched was serial number 3L. This was the third N1 to be constructed and the first fully functional rocket of the series, succeeding 2 full-scale test and training rockets. A few seconds after launch, a voltage error caused the onboard computer to shut off engine number 12. To maintain symmetrical thrust, engine number 24 was then shut down as well. In just 6 seconds, pogo oscillation in engine number 2 caused a propellant leak, and only seconds later, a fuel line ruptured, starting a fire. Once the fire had spread and burned a considerable amount of wiring, it caused an error in the onboard computer, which in turn shut down all 30 first-stage engines. At this point, the rocket was done for. It began its fall back towards Earth, and just over 2 minutes from launch, it crashed around 50 kilometers away from the launch pad. The second launch was the most destructive of all the launch failures. It was just before midnight on July 3, 1969, just days before NASA's Saturn V rocket launched 3 astronauts to the moon in the Apollo 11 mission. The rocket launched and appeared to have a good start, when out of nowhere, a bright flash was seen, and instantly, all 30 engines in the first stage were shut down by the onboard computer, except for number 18. This caused the rocket to come crashing back down to the launch pad at a 45-degree angle. A massive explosion then rocked the launch facility when the roughly 2,300 tons of fuel ignited upon impact. Burning fuel was still raining down from the sky 30 minutes after the explosion. This failure was a major blow to the Soviet moon program. The blast that had occurred was one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in human history, and debris was spotted over 20 miles away from the launch pad. American spy satellites even spotted the destruction at the launch pad, and were able to conclude that something was going on in the USSR. It took another 18 months before the launch pad and facility could be rebuilt. By the time of the next launch, in June 1971, the USA had already put men on the moon 3 times and was preparing to do so again that year. The third launch was also a failure, exploding due to structural loads when it started rolling out of control after launch. By the time of the fourth N-1 launch, the Russian military had become discouraged and knew that if this failed, it would most likely be the last launch. The designers and scientists working on the project were especially nervous about this and tried their hardest to create the best prototype yet. It was November 23, 1972, less than a month before Apollo 17 launched as the final manned mission to the moon by NASA. The launch started well. There were no problems whatsoever and it was going very smoothly. At T plus 90 seconds, the inner 6 boosters were shut down as planned. This was farther than any other N-1 launch had gotten before, and the mood was optimistic. But their luck would not last long. When the 6 engines were shut down, it caused a rupture in fuel lines. Engine number 4 exploded, and at T plus 107 seconds, the entire first stage exploded. Later, an investigation revealed that if Mission Control had jettisoned the first stage and started the second stage, it would have saved the spacecraft, as it was only 15 seconds away from first stage separation. The wreck crashed back down to the ground, and the fourth N-1 launch was a failure. After the final launch of the N-1 rocket, the program was officially canceled for good. The US had already gone to the moon 5 times, and the Soviets could not even build a rocket that could exit the atmosphere. This was the point when the USSR started to fall behind in the space race. Even though many more space missions would be conducted by the Russians after this point, the dream of going to the moon was gone. And to think that they were seconds away from sending an unmanned mission to the moon, that if successful, who knows how it could have changed history. Since the N-1 project was so secretive to begin with, the Soviet government quietly tucked it away, and it was classified until 1989, just before the fall of the Soviet Union. This ambitious project still maintains many records in the spaceflight world, some incredible, and some devastatingly destructive. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment, like the video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe if you like the content. Thank you again.